Hey guys, it's time to actually talk about video games for once. Yakuza 3. It's an amazing looking brawler from Sega on the PlayStation 3. Sega, in their infinite wisdom, decided that the best date to release their very Japanese-centric game in the US was on the very same day as Final Fantasy 13. So I did end up passing on it then, but it was definitely on my list for something to check out in the next month or so. However, I will no longer even consider purchasing this game. Sega has pulled a total crap move, and I will not be supporting them with my money. I will not be supporting their product by advertising it on this channel via a review. Sega has cut loads of content from the original Japanese version, and it is ridiculous. The most prominent cut from Yakuza 3 are the Hostess Club segments, which many of the missions dealt with directly. This is something that I would have loved to check out. Japanese culture can be fascinating, and I haven't experienced any other media that portrayed this unique facet of what may be considered an underbelly of their society. They have notoriously had many ties to the Japanese mafia, so it makes sense that they would be featured in this game. Hostess clubs are notoriously seedy and most often cater to a male audience by hiring female employees that are paid to drink alcohol and engage in what could be considered alternative conversation with the club's male patrons. Really, this could be anything from discussions about daily lives, emotional problems, to, slightly sexual. These businesses typically try their damn hardest to remain legitimate, but of course there is a sliver of it that dips into prostitution on some occasions. I'm not exactly wishing something like this was down the street from me, but I can't help some of my morbid curiosity that remains interested in this concept, and most important, because many parts of the video game deal with this that are no longer there. You are not getting Yakuza 3 when you buy this. When you buy the US version, you are getting a portion of Yakuza 3. Missions involving decent amounts of gameplay are now gone. Parts of the game that rely on the hostess clubs are worked around or just cut completely. The game got gimped, and reportedly in a very cheap fashion where it feels like something is missing. As a fan of games where I get to experience non-US cultures, I am disappointed. There is tons of miscellaneous content cut from the game. Many missions not involving the creepy hostess clubs are cut as well. Sizable amounts of content is gone. Other Asian-oriented things, including shogi and mahjong, are gone. This is an amount that should not just annoy the ridiculous anime fans, as many people will probably be commenting, but instead anyone who is interested in purchasing this product. It is bullshit. Sega first tried to quietly let this information slip out the door without anyone really taking much notice. Sorry, the hostess clubs are gone, but it's cool, you could still do everything else. We had to make sure that our game was decent for a Western audience. This is after they went back on their word that they originally said this game would be released unedited. Of course, this caused a lot of angry fans to protest. Here is Sega's response. We had a tight schedule to abide by for localizing and releasing Yakuza 3 in the West. Due to a limited time we were given, we had to leave certain bits of the game out, and we chose portions that we felt didn't resonate with Western culture, i.e. a Japanese history quiz show and the concept of hostess clubs. Given the options of releasing the next chapter of a beloved game, so many of our fans can experience the story of Yakuza first not releasing it at all. We felt it was worth it to release it with 99% of the content intact. We made sure that the story in no way, shape, or form was changed from the lack of quiz show or hostess clubs. You can still go into cabarets and on dates with the ladies in the game. Now, what the hell does that bullshit even mean? Is this seriously Sega's professional response to our concerns about an edited release? Tight schedule? Whose freaking tight schedule. With the managers at Sega so adamant of sending this game to its instant death on the very same day as Final Fantasy 13, if you can't make the schedule, delay the stupid ass thing. Seriously, no one will care if they don't have to ignore this game due to Final Fantasy 13 and instead have to wait another month or so for your slow ass company to release this. This little dumbass statement essentially tries to validate to Sega customers and fans that bullshit middle management debacles is a legitimate reason for us to understand why this game is getting a neutered release. Instead of such a crappy ass excuse, you should be delivering these messages to your boss who set the damn schedule in the first place. Sega, please get your shit together. This is inexcusable. These higher management people at your company suck. Who the hell do you think is your main audience for this title? You think you're gonna outsell God of War 3 on pure gameplay mechanics alone? Hell no, you aren't. Censorship and edited releases suck, and with all the other good games coming out right now, I will not be giving my money to Sega. I do not support this at all, and based on pure principle, I would not feel right supporting this. Yes, in the end, it's all just a bullshit video game, but as a bullshit video game, despite the fact that Sega's business practices and whether this game succeeds will heavily impact a decent number of living people, potentially in a very negative way, I'd rather just do something else with my time because I do not need Yakuza 3 to live. The company releasing this product did not earn my respect. Now, moving on, many people have been adamant about the idea that whether or not we see Yakuza 4 in the West is heavily contingent on whether this game succeeds or not, edited and all. While I'm sure that if 3 sold like hotcakes, it would sort of prove Yakuza is a brand in the US and 4 would be a no-brainer, I am still calling bullshit. Despite keeping it all as an unproven property, the company should still realize that its screw-up caused many sales to diminish, and that's beyond releasing the game on the same day as Final Fantasy 13. Sega, just like every other company, employs many different people who also have internet connections. Sega employs marketing people with the very specific job function of researching what the hell we're saying about the company in blog posts, forums, and yes, even YouTube videos. They should realize that they would be losing a large number of sales due to their bullshit practices, and that when you neuter your releases in such a dramatic fashion, it will bite you in the ass. Perhaps taking a chance on Yakuza 4 won't be worth it after all this, and we get either lazy releases or nothing at all, but you know what? So be it. Atlas, Exceed, Ignition, and several other companies are in the business of releasing other people's games, and I'm sure some of them would love to touch this series. If Sega passes on a localized release, many of the more respectable companies will probably manage to at least get a shot at it. I am very disappointed with Sega lately. The Sonic 4 boycott by buying Sonic 1 is silly, but this with Yakuza 3 is just outrageous. Also, while we're at it, releasing Resonance of Fate, a brand new Tri-Ace IP, a single week after Final Fantasy 13, which also happens to be competing with Pokemon and another RPG on the Wii, is just not a good idea either. Sega, you need to hire a new consultant. Thanks for watching, everyone, and tell all of your friends about this channel and check out my reviews and everything else that I do.